now that you have everything traced perfectly, you have lots of overlap, you've traced all the values, we're ready to start thinking about adding our color and our paint. So I thought long and hard about how to do this video best, and I think that starting with it half done and explaining what I've done is going to be the best way to do this. The first thing I want you to do though is you need to hand in this test sheet that you did. And you can see that I have my name on both sides of the test sheet. You need to take a picture of both sides of the test sheet and you need to add them to the watercolor grade sheet, okay? Names should be in marker or pen, and on both sides you need to add that. So make sure you do that before you get too far. So what I've done here, I've traced my fish, and my fish has a tail and two different fins, and he has his body. And I traced him in separate pieces, just like we talked about. And we are going to start by making our color. Well, what I did start by is by putting resist on these white areas, because I don't want these white areas to change color. And I still want to be able to paint and have a nice smooth transition, not have to stop here, start there, stop here, start there. So I put some resist on. Now in our test sheet we use masking tape, and if you have big areas you're going to be using masking tape. But if you have a tiny little area like this, I'm going to let you use rubber cement, so long as you have your safety contract signed by a family member. So make sure you have done that. I only have 116 out of 150, so a bunch of you are missing that still. We're going to use a stick to put this on, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the side here. And I found it's best to kind of dab it on rather than to try and really paint it, so that I don't end up with holes. If I go like this and try and paint it on, there's going to be holes in there. Okay, so that's we're going to go on to our everything we want white, and that's going to protect those areas. Then what I did second is I did a blending technique in here. Kind of looked at, I saw that it was darker around the outsides. These stripes here kind of had some purple in them, so I did some blending with the purple in there. But I mixed the colors. This is really important. These colors don't really exist in nature. This is just kind of the start. So to get this blue has blue and green and purple in it to get these colors. I didn't use the straight thing. That's going to be on your grade sheet. Did you mix your colors or did you work straight from the set? You don't want to work straight from the set. You want to be mixing your colors. Okay? So I actually have 3 techniques in this one little piece here. I think it's going to say you're going to need 7 different techniques. I have 3 in this one piece. Do check the grade sheet to make sure that that is accurate. But you do need a lot of different techniques in here. I'm also going to remind you, I know we talked about this before, water is the most important part of watercolor. I never, ever, ever want to see you painting from this tray because it's going to be very, very goopy. It's not the texture that we're trying to get for watercolor. It shouldn't look like a acrylic. If you did the acrylic painting last year, it should not look like the acrylic. So I have my blending, I have my mask, and the last thing I'm going to do is dry on dry, and this is a very long process, so I'm not going to do the whole thing for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start very carefully taking my black and adding that in to my fish. Now, a lot of times when people start this, they want to start on the black. And I come by and someone's doing a zebra or a panda. Lots of people do pandas. And they're doing all the black stuff before they've done all the lighter colors. I want you to work from your lightest color first to your darkest color. And after you've done all of your lightest colors, you can put your darker colors on top. Otherwise, you end up trying to get these lighter colors back in here, and it's not very neat. It's harder because when I did all these little stripes, I didn't actually have to think about those stripes. I just painted right over top of them. You have to think about the stripes twice instead of just one time, and it's much messier. So I really want you to light colors first, the big colors in the back first, and then go and start putting these darker details on top. This technique is going to be dry on dry. So I have blending, I have resist, and I have dry on dry all in this one piece. Just make sure. Yep, that should be it. So really make sure you're planning these things out before you get started. I know, I believe I said that in the last video, but before you start painting all crazy like, make sure that you really know what technique is going where. Once this all dries, you can rub off that resist and this piece of it will be done.